Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Ali Law. And today I would like to expound on a subject that keeps coming up. And it's really, heartbreaking that Yakub's law of divide and conquer still has some FOIs and MGTs divided amongst themselves after knowledge, wisdom, and understanding has come to us. I like to label this particular subject: just because a person is pro-Elijah does not mean that they're Anti Farrakhan. Now, some people, not all people, some people think that those of us who consider ourselves student followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are anti the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I say the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, I say it with my tongue in my cheek, as they say, because I love that man, respect that man. People don't know what I went through for that man. Now, I mean, to me, for like 30, 40 years almost, I've been teaching that he's the international representative of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings in the holy nation of Islam. To me, he's the most gifted, the most qualified, the most above ground, the most structured, the most wise, flyest minister I ever seen in the nation of Islam. Know what I mean? And I recognize and respect him to, it's like no doubt in my mind. It's like an insult to me, really, you know what I mean? It's like I didn't have my blood spilt for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I didn't spill blood for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I didn't won lawsuits for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I didn't been beat for the Honorable Minister. I was in the hole for 5 years for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So it's like an insult to me to tell me my brother ain't my brother, first of all. You know what I mean? It's like, not only what has Islam done for me, but what have you done for Islam? You know what I mean? What sacrifices have you made? You know what I mean? It's like above ground, underground, we got money for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Y'all don't know what was really going on with that brother's struggle in trying to resurrect this nation. I'm from North Philly. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, they tried to blow him up. I mean, all kind of stuff. It's like we put things in check to make sure that brother stay alive. It wasn't no easy task resurrecting the nation of Islam. That nation didn't come about from brothers selling no final calls and bean pies. I mean, there was no final call. We had the Final Call of Islam newsletter. I mean, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's so articulate. It brought tears to my eyes whenever I heard him on the radio, whenever I seen him on TV, if he's on the news, if he's putting up the sword of Islam, fighting back the propaganda and lies against him. You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's like, it's really disrespectful, according to the Holy Quran, for a believer to say that another believer is not a believer. The Holy Quran asks, how do you know what's in their heart? I mean, you don't know what's in a believer's heart. You know what I mean? It's like, like anything and anyone, you're going to have things that you differ on and disagree with. That shows intelligence. That's the meaning of FOI, but we're taught by the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. We don't supposed to be like robots, you know what I mean, where we're just programmed to think one way. Oh. It's like, come on with the spooky stuff. That's idol worshiping. You know what I mean? But in this day and time with social media, you know what I mean, it's like people just run with anything. You know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous, really. You know what I mean? But I would like to share with y'all something that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared with us. He explained to us, this was back, I'm taking an educated guess here, but I believe it was like in the 1990s, somewhere around there. And it was definitely in the Final Call newspaper. So our astute students they can dig up the old articles, whatever. But in the final call, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, when he came back from overseas and he held a press conference, he had a problem with us, the FOIs and MGTs of the Nation of Islam. And he basically explained that when he came back to Chicago, he saw posters and flyers, if you will, I'm paraphrasing, that referred to him as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he explained to us, let me make my position very, very clear to y'all, at least y'all deviate in the end and then blame me for it. And he had basically explained that in the court of law, there's only one honorable one, and that's the judge. And his thing is basically, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the honorable one in the Nation of Islam. And the brother, being like he always been, he has a humble spirit. You know what I mean? You know, he don't seek to add cubits to his stature and none of that kind of stuff, you know. So in humility, basically was telling us like, look, y'all getting a little carried away with the spooky stuff. Y'all tripping with the don't turn him into a pop star. He need us to be soldiers, to be nation builders. You know what I mean? It's like we got a chief. We need some Indians. But the Indians can't be running around in a circle with, oh, worship the chief, worship the chief. It's like, come on. Where's the nation? You know what I mean? Where's the programs? Where the money at? You know what I mean? Where's the hospital? Where's the schools? I mean, it takes real things to build a real nation. You know what I mean? So it's a thing where he explained that to us. So when I say honorable, the reason I'm saying honorable, I'm consciously being insubordinate to him because I don't want to cause dissension in the ranks, because as a student follower of Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, people may think that, oh, he don't say honorable because he don't think that the brother, man, I believe that man is God. I believe the black man is God. You know what I mean? His son Mustafa is, that brother is strong, that Mustafa is that raw. He may not be out in the public like that because he chose to help his father in his great work, but Mustafa is that boy for real. So his son was the one that attracted the brothers I was soldiering with. Now I mean, he's like, yeah, he's that steel sharpened steels, diamonds sharpened diamonds. We loved his militancy. We loved the militancy of Dr. Khalid. We loved Malcolm X when he was in the Nation of Islam. We loved Father Law when he was teaching, building on them lessons in the street. That don't, just because I'm not a member of the nation of gods and earths, that don't mean that I don't love the Father. That don't mean I don't build with the gods and earths. That don't mean I won't physically die for them brothers and say, I love, that's my brother. Yeah, I mean, we used to hold ciphers with them every day. Now, I mean, I love my boy. I used to be in the Moore Science Temple, praying with them, teaching on the rostrum numerous times. In fact, one speech I got in the Moore Science is in my book, 24 Sparks. Now, I mean, that was 20-something years ago we was doing that stuff. We used to write articles. We used to write articles in the 5% of newspaper, all that kind of stuff. Now, I mean, so we sold Final Calls. Now, I mean, I sold Muhammad Speaks. You know, I wrote in the Final Call. I wrote in Muhammad Speaks. Now, I mean, so you're talking to a brother that just loves the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I believe that Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, is the supreme law, period. I mean, I believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his first, last, and only messenger, period. Now, does that mean that I don't follow a particular minister? The way I came up in a manner that's basically my aunt, my mother's oldest sister, my aunt Ola Hassan, she was an MGT, and my cousins were MGTs in the Nation of Islam. And actually, my cousin YD is the one that actually sparked her mother and her sister, you know what I mean, her sisters, you know what I mean. But basically, I can't negate my cousin Yasmin. Shout out to Yazzie. But so you know, my family, you know what I mean, they was into that on my aunt side of the family. The other side of my family were Baptists. They was into like the church and Jesus, and you know, And I'm neither one really. I'm like in the street, but I know common sense when I hear common sense. And I heard Christian preachers teaching common sense. I heard Christian preachers teach things that I loved and believed. I used to hear stuff and watch movies of Jesus of Nazareth, and I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Years later, I wake up, oh, the real Jesus wasn't Caucasian, but that didn't take away that man was feeding his people. You know what I mean? That man was fighting the system, fighting the powers that be. You know what I mean? You know, when I started studying Islam, it was like, for me, message to the black man in America, it just fit me from head to toe. That was it for me. And I'm like, okay. Because I'm not a real I've never been a religious type of person, you know what I mean? But the messenger's message is what guided me through the age of mess. So my thing was, my allegiance and my studies was focused on the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching. I just loved his teachings. You know what I mean? I studied his lessons, his books, his Muhammad's, any scrap or anything I could get of it, his memories, FOIs and MGTs that had hadiths or memories. I listened to all that. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? Some of it wasn't correct. You know what I mean? Some of it needs to be modified. But the thing is, I always sought to get the direct, original teachings of Elijah Muhammad. And in the past 40 years, I have never seen anything or anyone that equal the messenger's message. So for me, that's what I rock with. But at the same time, we're now in 2021. Elijah Muhammad's not physically here. Whether you believe he's alive on the mother plane coming back, that's a different subject. We're here now. We need living ministers, living captains, living secretaries, living investigators, living inspectors, living farmers, living drivers, living here. You know what I mean? So we gotta keep it moving. I mean, when the ant dies, the ants don't worship the ant. I mean, the army keeps building the nation. They got to keep the colony growing. I mean, so they keep the work going. But the Honorable Minister Farrakhan did explain to us to stop calling him honorable. So those of us that's calling him honorable is really dishonoring his instructions. But I do it, my intent, and our lessons teaches us in 17 Ways to Play Islamic Cultures that actions are judged by intentions. Actions may appear wrong, but motives bring rewards. In Arabic, we call it niyat. So my niyat, or my intention, is not to cause dissension amongst the ranks. You know what I mean? It's like, he's honorable because you're honorable. She's honorable. They're honorable. We're honorable people. So I have no problem with calling him the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I have no problem with calling Silis Muhammad the Honorable Minister Silis Muhammad. But I never registered under the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I never registered under the 5%ers. I never registered under the Pan-Africans. I never registered under the Black Panthers. I never registered under a church. I never registered under the Sunnis. I never registered under any religion. I never registered under the atheists. I mean, that just was me. But I became a student follower of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my personal preference. You know what I mean? And in this country, they have something called the First Amendment and freedom of belief. You know what I mean? I don't believe in religion, you know what I mean, or religarity, or going back to bondage or anything like that. But I believe in spiritual sciences. I believe in haqq. I believe in reality. You know what I mean? I believe in universal law. I believe in nature. I believe in mental mathematics. I believe in writing it down or spelling it out in the meta-netta or the hieroglyphics. I believe in black people. I believe in the God in the mirror. I'm a self-believer. I do for self. Now, I mean, that's how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings produced me. Now, I mean, so the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, he putting out two things in that final call. One, don't refer to him as honorable. And my thing is, I don't have no problem with calling him, when he hears it so much, when people call him honorable, he don't be like, stop, don't call me honorable. He accepts it, he understands you're coming from the heart. It's coming from a positive, sincere, good place. So that's not really a problem. But the problem is starting to get where people think that if I don't mention Minister Farrakhan in my prayers, I'm a hypocrite. I don't believe. I'm not a follower of Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings. My prayer can't get through to Allah. Now I'm like, you're tripping now. You're getting into idol worship now. You're getting a little spooky now. You're forgetting glaring reality now, because the Honorable Minister Farrakhan told us when he came back from overseas, he said, I seen posters referring to me as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His thing was like, let me make my position clear to you so that you won't deviate in the end, meaning that you won't get all spooked up, and next thing you know, we see what's starting to happen. Like, believers is like, instead of following message to the black man, how to live, they getting into hadiths. I mean, I did a little raggedy video just teaching on kale. They like, oh, you can eat vegetables. It's like the messenger said we don't supposed to eat kale. That don't mean that some don't eat kale, but you can't say I'm wrong for saying that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we shouldn't eat kale. The messenger said the best diet is a vegetarian diet. That's his teachings. That don't mean everyone in the Nation of Islam has to be a vegetarian. There's no compulsion in Islam. The messenger said he himself is not restrictive in how to eat the live. He said he don't do everything Allah told him to do. Now, I mean, he said he wouldn't suffer the sicknesses and ailments that he suffered from if he would have practiced how to eat the live as Master Muhammad taught it to him. So it ain't nothing spooky, you know what I mean? But the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, to me, certain things he taught through his ministry is just so simple, it's so plain that it just stuck with me like a lesson. Like I done shared it with countless people countless times. I live by, I use it. You know what I mean? So I want to share with y'all some of the wisdom that he dropped in that final call. I want to drop this on y'all, and I'm paraphrasing, but the short version is this: we who follow Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings cannot say that we follow some minister or a disciple of a prophet or messenger of God. That is the wrong theology. Jews do not say that they follow Harun or Aaron or Korah. They say that they follow Moses. Christians or Catholics do not say that they follow Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, or Paul. They say that they follow Jesus. Orthodox Muslims do not say they follow Ali or Uthman or Abu Bakr. They say they follow Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or thoughts of peace be upon him. Likewise, as a student follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that loves the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who loves the Honorable Silis Muhammad, who loves Father Allah, who loves Jeremiah Shabazz, who loves all of the ministers that came and paved the way, who had love shown to me from Minister Mutaquan in Philadelphia, Minister Levi Kareem struggling to put out Muhammad Speaks newspaper. I love to support them brothers. And Sister Malika, who got an MGT minister who got shot teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Pittsburgh. This is the real stuff that y'all ain't looking at. It's like, yeah, I rock with Farrakhan, and I rock with Silas. I rock with all those that stand up for freedom, justice, and equality in the struggle. But at the same time, just because I'm pro-Elijah don't mean I'm anti-Farrakhan. Likewise, we who follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we're not anti-Farrakhan. I can't count the times I mention Farrakhan in my prayers. I mention my wife in my prayer. I mention my family in my prayers. I mention you, the believers. Therefore, I bless. Therefore, I mean, if it's a brother that's sick, as a minister, I hold janazas. I pray for the dead. But that don't mean that my prayer can't get through to Allah if I don't mention Farrakhan. That's an insult to me. Message to the black man, teach us, get out of that. The messenger said, the Christians don't sit around and wait for some mystery God to answer their prayer. He told us, answer your own prayers. So I understand the sign. I wrote a whole book on the secret reality of Salat. I mean, I studied that stuff. I know how to do all that. But I don't have to be making no rock cuts or mentioning certain people by name for my prayer to get to Allah. Come on now. We got 7 mind dimensions: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. So no matter how I'm praying, I could be praying walking, I could be praying thinking, I could verbally make a prayer, I can write out a prayer. But my prayer right now is that those who love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan realize that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is loved by those in the circle and outside that circle, because there's only one circle. There's only one nation of Islam. Peace and love, family. Islam Allah. I'm your brother, Minister Ali Fallah. Peace.